Welcome back to a new stream, another stream right here at twitch.tv/Mr. Player Juan, and welcome for the first ever edition of the Wrestling Byte. We are going to be witnessing some simulated battles in WWE 13 on the PlayStation 3, one of my favorite wrestling games. I have with me from the A Cast of the Past podcast, I have from London, Ontario, Keith Hamilton. Keith, what up, man?
Hi, thanks for having me here. I I woke up one day and thought to myself, man, I really want to talk about wrestling with someone. Because, like you mentioned, we had a wrestling podcast back in the day. And sometimes I just kind of get that itch. And it's not the type of itch you need to go see a doctor for. So I sent you a message and said, hey, let's figure out a way to talk about some wrestling.
What better way to go to an older wrestling game than by actually doing a Royal Rumble match?
That's how you approach old wrestling video games.
Exactly.
How good is the Royal Rumble mode? You really get to see the roster.
So you can't see Cody because I'm literally covering him with my camera. Just based on this, pick two people perhaps that you think could win as we engage in this dialogue, and anybody in chat, you can also join us.
All right, these are my two picks. I'm going to go with, well, this feels like cheating, but you didn't say that I couldn't. I'm going to go with The Rock, because that gives me two entries. And then
okay, come on now. Which Rock?
Let's go with Hollywood Rock, because it's Hollywood. And then for my second one, I'm going to say CM Punk, because he's the cover star of WWE 13.
Okay, so CM Punk and The Rock. And then Yannick goes with John Cena. I'm going to go with Gangrel.
Okay.
Because I'm not going with any logic here.
The Vampire Warrior needs to win something eventually.
A man that reminds me a lot of Gangrel, Brock Lesnar.
Ah, yes.
Somebody told me he was the fourth member of the Brood almost, right?
Pretty much. I mean, Brood, Suplex City, tomato.
This actual game, WWE 13, what's your experience with it or memories?
I remember, I think this is the last PS3 360 era game I bought. Wrestling game, that is. I remember being really hyped for it at the time, because if there's one thing that wrestling video games do right, it is the commercials leading up to the actual game. Like, God, those are some of the best campaigns ever.
This is the game where Brock came back in WWE 12, right? Here he was part of the roster. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because it was the Attitude game, so he would come up before, because he's just part of the roster,
I'm trying to think, because this is WrestleMania 28, but he came back the night after 28, so 28 would have had to have happened. So yeah, this is the one he came back in.
Okay. Ace, what's going on, my friend? Here chilling with Keith Hamilton.
Good afternoon.
So, number one. Oh, Keith,
wow.
You're in trouble now. You're
That's
in trouble
okay.
now.
That's okay. Punk's the Iron Man, baby. He's done it before. But I mean, that last time he left the WWE, so
exactly.
Not everything's going well for me.
So just to refresh everybody, CM Punk and Modern Rock, you said, right?
Yes.
Okay, and Modern Rock are his picks for possibly winning the Rumble, one of them. And then for me, it's Gangrel or Brock Lesnar. And then for Yannick, it is John Cena. Dinner time for me. Nice. What you going to have for dinner, Ace?
I hope before dinner, Ace, you moved the sand on the ground, look at your clock, and screamed, "It's dinner time!" like you were CM Punk.
It's the only way to go about it. So, oh, man. Oh, this is actually a nice throwback. So let's talk about this, actually. I mean, Randy Orton and CM Punk that was a match at what Mania? You're good at this stuff. I'm not. What WrestleMania was that?
Thinking about it, it was like 27, because it was the Nexus year. It's the year after, like, that was the no, it wasn't. Was it? It was 27. Okay. Because I get the, like, in my brain, the year that the Nexus thing ended and the year that Randy Orton was in a handicap match against Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase. They flip. I can't remember which one is which.
Okay.
But, talking about that match, that's one of history's more disappointing storylines, because, well, that's where the Nexus landed, where probably the best thing to happen in wrestling in the 2010s ended with that disappointment of the match. You went from just the red hot heat that the Nexus had that started declining after SummerSlam, going into the new Nexus come January, and then you had the Ferrari with a tank engine in Husky Harris.
Mr. Husky. Ace writes, WrestleMania 26 was Orton versus Rhodes versus DiBiase, right?
And then this was the year after, right.
Right, so it's a very interesting time. So we're saying that this is Apex Predator, but before that we had Legacy. And then Punk kind of went the other way because, I mean, Punk in WWE had the Straight Edge Society, and then I'm not even going to say he had Nexus, because if there's one thing I never understood is from day one that he became the new leader, it's like the next Raw, he didn't give a crap about that group. And then it kind of just like stopped existing. Why do you think that was? Oh, wait, what? Why is Bret Hart so excited like that? What the hell?
Guys, where am I?
He's like, yo, where's my jacket, man? Where's my glasses? I got to give that to a kid.
I'm not ready to execute. We need to be excellent. This game has some weird entrance animations. That's always been a weird thing about the Rumble modes in a wrestling video game, where they really can't, because it would just be way too complex. They really can't like specialize it for every wrestler, so they just give them weird generic stuff.
Yeah, they only have a couple. Yeah, they only have like a few for like the larger guys. But in your case, when that new Nexus came to existence, what was your take of Punk around that time? Because I mean, Punk and Orton are two of your top guys of all time. So what's your take on Punk during that time? Oh my goodness. Number 4. Oh, God. Johnny Ace. Hey, Ace, you got another Ace.
That's true. It's time for people power. But yeah, the new Nexus storyline was a weird one for me, because that was before the summer of Punk. But if you remember, there was that weird period where Punk was a commentator. I believe he had like an injury, or he was out with surgery, so they made him a commentator on NXT and sometimes on Raw. So he was doing fun things at the time, and this was his debut back in the ring. So I was excited, and the Nexus, like I mentioned, was one of my favorite things to happen in wrestling in a very, very, very long time at that point, even though it had kind of petered out by then. So I was optimistic, and from that, I was disappointed.
Yeah, because like let's not forget, Nexus went through a pretty devastating blow. You know, you talk about John Cena, Wade Barrett, SummerSlam. Man, just like that, it's gone. But okay, Slater time, baby. Slater.
Speaking of the Nexus,
this Rumble, it's going to remind you of like, now this guy's in Impact Wrestling. Bret Hart hates everything, so not much has changed. CM Punk, we don't know what the hell he's up to, and then Randy's just Randy.
It's about wrestling, and Randy Orton's still doing it. Had a great series of matches with Keith Lee recently.
With Punk around that time, I think the most unfortunate thing was that you mix Nexus and Punk. Like, can you imagine if Punk was a part of the initial Nexus? Kind of like he was the outcast in WWE. Like, let's not forget when Punk was world champion, it was like he didn't exist, right? He was treated as like this third-grade wrestler, which would have been interesting to see in the first Nexus. When they introduced him in the second one, I was thinking like, man, they can do something. But the fact that he as a leader barely acknowledged the team, and then it kind of just like dissolved, right? Like, I always thought that was questionable.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it now that you mention it, and I need to check on my cat quickly. He just hit his head, but
that's important. By the way, Bret Hart just gone. Now we have Hager.
Excellently executed. But yeah, it's interesting that you bring that up, because now that I've never thought about it, but now I'm thinking about, would Punk have worked in the original Nexus? And honestly, I think the answer is no. Even though whatever happened, that original version of the Nexus, I think, was perfect as it was, because you had all of these guys as an unknown factor. Like, yes, they were the contestants in NXT, but you didn't really get to know a lot about them from NXT, because it was more of a game show than it was like a wrestling series. So you have all of these guys brand new with a chip on their shoulder, And that's what made the Nexus great. It's almost like what's their name? That weird thing that's attacking everybody on Raw now. It's like Retribution done well. Like Retribution is kind of has the same theory as the Nexus, but it's just a worse version of it. And I think that's why it worked.
And I think that I think from day one, Nexus was played because, like the first initial Nexus, because you had Daniel Bryan, who had that whole thing where he was choking Justin Roberts with his tie, and that led to him being fired. So already there, it's like not so a great thing. But then I believe like a lot of them started to get injured, right? Oh, Orton's gone, but Punk's still in though. Punk's still in.
They did end up getting injured. Like I know Michael Tarver ended up getting injured, but in my opinion, it was because of the reason I liked it. It was doomed to fail because the Nexus, like you cannot doubt that the Nexus was the hottest thing in wrestling when it started happening.
And from the theme music, I think the way that they came out, and I kind of understand your point with, we were obsessed with that song, and I understand your point of, I think what worked with Nexus was that they were all basically nobodies in the mainstream, but from day one, they treated them like a big deal, right? It's not just, hey, here's a new stable, now Raw's going to continue. It felt like, hey, these guys are here to not like take over in the traditional sense. It's like, here's a leader. I think them having an established leader, Wade Barrett, I remember even us talking about Wade Barrett in the NXT game show. He was
going to be the biggest thing since sliced bread number 2. But I think that exact reason is the reason why the Nexus failed. And you can bring it all back to SummerSlam of that year, where the Nexus was the biggest thing in wrestling. So you need to put it against the biggest thing in wrestling to make it seem like it's huge, right? So,
you're down
there
to
I
one.
Go. No, all right, Rock. We
should have gone with Primo.
Still.
You should have gone with Primo.
Gone with Primo. And then bought a timeshare in Puerto Rico.
Wait, is Primo about to eliminate Kane? Is Primo about to eliminate Kane?
Oh, I love video game wrestling Royal Rumbles. And Ace mentions it in the chat. John Cena killed the Nexus. In order to be as big as they were, they had to feud with the top stars. And the top stars were like John Cena, Chris Jericho,
Bret Hart.
Bret Hart for some reason.
No, Primo's gone.
Oh, rest in peace, Primo. But you got, like, once you put these nobodies in the ring with John Cena, then you have, like, the unfortunate situation of, well, Wade Barrett has had 4 matches on Raw. He can't beat John Cena. And that was really what led to them losing all their momentum, right? All of these guys that were just out of developmental didn't really match up with all of the, all of these top stars that have been built for years. And I don't think there's any amount of creative in the world that could have solved that issue. And that's kind of where it fell apart. And it's really disappointing.
Oh, we got the resurgence of a tag team here.
X-Pac and Kane. Where's Kane's green attire for those 2 weeks he was in Degeneration X?
Now we need that crappy, like the break it down, the music they have between there. So we're talking about the Nexus right now for those going in, which was a stable in a couple of years ago. But man, Keith, that was like a decade ago. Jeepus, that was almost a decade ago. Yeah.
Don't remind me.
I think the challenge there is that John Cena really was a detriment, because let's think about Nexus, let's think about Rusev, Bray Wyatt. It was like it didn't matter who you were. The whole goal is become big enough to take on John Cena, but then you're losing to him. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Which I remember even with Rusev, like we all thought about that. It's like, okay, here we go. Here's like the Russian, the Bulgarian brute. We know what's gonna happen. Guess what happened? Yeah.
Yep. Boom.
Ace writes, the OG finish, if I remember, Cena was eliminated in the middle of the match, and Edge and Jericho job for Nexus. Yeah, and then they changed to, like, he survives that DDT on the outside or whatever the hell it was, which should have ended it. John Cena, in hindsight, has openly said that was a mistake. That was a bad idea. So luckily, that was good. But then, guess what? Like,
that's one of those things that's really easy to say in hindsight, though, right?
Wait, Juan and Keith of Byte That fame? What the hell's Byte That? This is Wrestling Byte, Ryan McNulty. This is not the same thing.
Byte That is dead and buried.
Yeah,
and it'll
Ryan,
never
stop
be
living
back.
in the past. I mean, speaking of living in the past, you got Ken Shamrock, Kane, and frickin' Yoshitatsu, man. Talk to me about Yoshitatsu, Keith.
Real talk. When it's funny how Kane and Ken Shamrock just stopped and like, bring it on, Yoshitatsu.
Yep.
But when you were at that character select screen, I was looking through it and I was like, oh, why is Tanahashi in this game? Oh, wait, that's Yoshitatsu, right?
Yeah. The haircut also gave you that idea. Hepetus writes, he loved X-Pac during his times. So all jokes aside, because I think X-Pac there's literally something called X-Pac heat, right? Like, for better or worse, he's got his whole thing. But man, I'm going back on not even so much the network. I'm watching like a lot of highlight videos of the Attitude Era. And man, X-Pac, like, why? Like, people don't realize how damn good he was back in the day. Like, sure, he walked back and forth.
Wrestler.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, I know what you're saying, but as somebody that also has gone back and watched like old Raws from the late 90s and the Attitude Era, I can also see where they're coming from, because anytime X-Pac took a microphone, it just makes me want to go like, oh man, shut up.
Oh yeah, he can talk worth a damn because he only had one tone.
He could wrestle.
Like,
but
everybody
then he would just go on the microphone and be like, it's time to smoke grass and kick butt.
I think all of us in chat, without actually listening to an X-Pac promo right now, you know what an X-Pac promo is, which is yell out loud, wait, is Yoshitatsu going to eliminate Chris Jericho now?
No, man, is he going to be the sole survivor in the ring?
So, Heped has brought up Rusev. So, in the topic of Miro, right now, Miro had said at some point that he's retired from wrestling. So, naturally, he's not retired, because that's what a wrestler says. They're retired.
But he is focusing on Twitch now these days.
He's like pretty damn good on it. I mean, aside from Lana getting him banned for showing a little bit too much, he's like super personable. He's like a great guy.
Lana move.
Yeah. So say you had the choice, the power of choice, the power of the people, to have Miro be in either Impact Wrestling, AEW, or WWE as a different character, because I do think people have seen, like, he's pretty damn funny. He's a pretty awesome guy. Mm-hmm. What would you do with a guy like that right now?
Honestly, just make a little tweak to Rusev Day and just cash in on that. Like, you don't need to reinvent the wheel with something like that. Because, like, so let's look at Rusev's entire run. He was the weird, like, Zangief ripoff that broke 2x4s.
Right.
Then he was the Russian sympathizer. Wow. Yeah. Then he was in, like, 18 love triangles. Then it was Rusev Day. So, like, and Rusev Day was
he in the League of Nations or whatever the hell it was? The Nation of Leagues? He
was in the League of Nations. Oh my God, the League of Nations. Wow.
We should do a podcast episode about the League. Does anybody in chat even remember what the hell the League of Nations is? Jeeves.
Oh my God.
Is that one of the biggest failures in wrestling?
Yes.
It's like, dude, I think the Job Squad was more successful than the damn League of Nations.
Only to be trumped by Dr. Death's WWE run.
That is true. Okay, so in the ring, we have Attitude Rock, we have late WWE Y2J Yoshitatsu, not Big Show, that is Paul White, and that now British Bulldog. That is the magic of wrestling games, people.
It's a beautiful thing.
And a couple things here in chat. Ace writes, Yoshitatsu, who's in All Japan Pro Wrestling. Yeah, I've seen a couple of clips from him there. I like to rewatch the ECW Revival episode. Are you talking about the One Night Stands, or are you talking about the ECW Revival, like WWE ECW, as people say?
The one with the zombie and Hardcore Holly destroying his back on a table.
Oh boy! Wait, what? Double choke slam between The Rock and Paul White to Yoshitatsu. That's a little overkill, don't you think?
Just a little bit. I'm getting vibes of the 2000 Royal Rumble episode, available at youtube.com/A Cast of the Past, with the Big Show and The Rock in the ring. That's how that Rumble ended.
I got one of my people. Nicole in chat, what
Come
is
on.
going on?
You need to say it right.
Brock Lesnar.
I'll take that. I was looking for, well, here comes the pain.
Here comes the pain. By the way, I'm really happy Keith was the person that openly said, like, hey, let's talk about wrestling and do these things. So it's not that every Wednesday we're going to be doing this, but maybe once a month or something, we can pick a game. Luckily, I have over 52 different wrestling games, so let's just say there's a lot that can be done. We can even go back. Tokinet mentions the best wrestling game I played is the one from the N64, which is usually No Mercy, and we could do a badass Rumble with No Mercy and just talk about that game and the Attitude Era and all that stuff, right?
I don't know if you remember or not, but I tried to do a No Mercy Royal Rumble during the Byte That, which is now dead, don't forget, 12-hour video game marathon, and it was a disaster.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute.
Because only
Didn't it,
four
not
people
end?
can be in the ring, and then they would just wrestle for 25 minutes, and you'd be like, I think I was an hour and a half in, and I was only 15 people into this 30-man Rumble.
I remember that. You look so pissed.
Theory. In theory, it's a good idea.
So if we do a No Mercy or something, it's gonna be something else. It's not gonna be a Rumble match. Live and learn. A couple more things here. I do remember the League of Nations, right, Tepedes? So I mean, people remember it.
Else does. Didn't the League of Nations cause Sheamus to beat Roman Reigns for the championship at Survivor Series? The League of Nations got a title run.
Oof. Thing is, honestly, I remember so little about them. I honestly can't even talk about that too much. But you're a wrestling fan when you remember the League of Nations. It's like there's no other reason. And they were on the right spot with Rusev Day, and then Lana came along. Any other promotion would do great following on with Rusev Day. I think it's I never understood. And actually, this is a good conversation that we've never had. It's a really deep one. So we have Rusev and Lana that are an actual couple, right? But then they introduce somebody like Bobby Lashley on screen, and then they're a couple, but we know they're not, right? So we're supposed to suspend disbelief on the TV. It never feels authentic. What do you think about that when they bring in real-life relationships, but then they add this artificial touch that everybody's like, come on now, man? Because I think that killed off Rusev.
Oh, 100%. I think hey, you know what? I'm sure he's or she's the love of his life and they're quite happy together. But as far as a pro wrestling career in the WWE, once Lana lost the Russian accent, it was one of the worst things to happen to Rusev in that way, because it kind of just always came back to Lana one way or another. And that kind of hampered Rusev's career. And wow, Lesnar just
he just threw the living hell out of the Bulldog.
Mm-hmm. But I think it's okay to have those fake relationships, quote unquote fake relationships in wrestling. But the second that you put a little bit of real life into it, you kind of shoot yourself in the foot, because now, yes, it's a story, but it extra feels like a story now, and you don't recover from it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's very unfortunate, and we got a couple of awesome things here in chat, including Taino. What's going on, my friend? No, Lesnar's gone. Lesnar's gone. Okay, so wait.
So we're 1-1.
Okay, I still have Gangrel. Gangrel hasn't shown up, and you still have
Rock.
So we could still happen. Oh, wait a minute though. But we have Cena, so Yannick is in a threatening spot. I should have gone with DDP.
Still in the running here.
Yeah, I have here. Thank God this is a game. If not, the Rumble would have been over with Lesnar in it a little while ago. But I mean, hey, we got the Great Khali now, so
yeah,
that can happen.
And Great Khali is basically Brock Lesnar times 5. If Brock Lesnar KO Kenned times 5, he would be the Great Khali.
Exactly, man. And with a character like Great Khali, something I want to just and I love that we're all over the place in this, and that's kind of what this is, right? It's okay, we got a new topic now.
Let's go from the Nexus to the Great Khali to Natalia to Diamond Dallas Page's
why not?
program.
Exactly. So one of the biggest problems with the wrestling game is that when they try to make it simulation based, you have somebody like Khali that could barely move. So he never felt very natural in the games, right? Is that something that you looked for in the wrestling games? You know, WWE 13, 14, and even 12 is like, I'm going to stay in the middle of the wrestling games where, you know, we had the N64, then we had the transition to this generation, we had these games, and then everybody hated almost anything that came after these games, right? Especially after 2K14. Where do you stand on these? Like, where do you think the fine line of arcade action simulation, would this game be a good example? What would be the ideal wrestling game for you out of the ones that have come out?
I do think that it lies somewhere around where they were with like the WWE 13, 12, 14, because there was a point where it got too simulation based. And I'm of the mind that you're playing a video game, you need it to be fun. And the more simulation you get with a wrestling match, the less fun it is, because wrestling as a concept needs to be over the top. And video games let you be as over the top as you want it to be. So that, I think that's where they have the room to excel. Because if you go to quote unquote simulation, then you're going into like the MMA video game route.
Yeah.
And I don't think that works for
By the
wrestling
way,
because
Keith, look at the telly, look at the Twitch machine who's coming down.
the ideal wrestling game is a game that's I see what you're saying.
Okay, I'm like, wait, what?
Wait, what? I will
Talking
just
about
say,
you got your dude, you got
finally.
Gangrel may win, man. Gangrel. Wait a minute.
Number are we on?
I don't know, but we're up there. It's Yannick versus Keith right now. Yannick versus Keith. And then Dana Bryan versus Great Khali, just they're hanging out.
Mm-hmm. That's a heck of an arm to have in an arm bar there.
But with what you were saying to me, I agree with you because look, wrestling, I have heard it is choreographed. People, I have heard rumors.
It's not fake. It's predetermined.
Exactly, because I mean, hell, like the freaking bodies and the damage they take, that is undeniable, right? But I think that these games, especially with 2K14, because I think 13, this one, it had a couple of glitches, like you could counter forever. I remember Ryan and myself would play online, and it got to a point that we just get bored because we just kept countering each other's moves. Whereas,
that was us in like 06 as well, where the match became like down to 2 or 3 moves of who didn't hit the counter button fast enough.
I think 14 struck a really nice balance. And that's why I think even when I was thinking of what game to pull into this stream here, I thought about this one because I think it's the perfect balance of it's slow enough to feel real, right? But it still feels very quick pick up and play. And even though the controls, wrestling games have always had crappy controls. Like they've always been overly complicated. And Keith, I think you're gone, buddy. Oh, wait. No. The Rock's still in.
I'm not out of it now, Yannick. Still got fight, baby.
Ace writes, a wrestling simulation is going to be a game who broke kayfabe. Yeah, it's like 1, 2, I'm not putting you over. Then the guy that just gets up. And Hepetus writes about Rusev, but it didn't work with the grand scheme of things. It did destroy Rusev, and that story and his potential were better than they could have done with Lana and Lashley. That Lana and Lashley thing, which, like, even Lashley's just a weird topic, man. I remember when Lashley was the new kid.
Weird run.
Yeah, I feel old. Like, now Lashley's one of the older guys, man. But he never became, like, the top guy in WWE. So it's just kind of weird to have him be in that spot.
It is, but he always had that top guy potential, right? Because he was always, especially in his first run, he was that guy that was just a step below Cena and Batista. There was an era where I think it was like Batista was the world heavyweight champion, Cena was the WWE champion, and then Lashley was the ECW champion.
Keith.
That pretty much like perfectly describes I keep wanting to say Lashley, and I don't know why. That perfectly describes Lashley's WWE run, where he was just a little rung below, and the fact that you're a bastard.
Keith, sorry, man. Rocky gone.
Oh, well, maybe I'll get him in the next one.
Cody didn't last very long. Maybe he needed the help of the Nightmare family for that. Oh,
That's true.
Cena with a dropkick to Kali, but he's still in. Okay, that's the biggest bump he's taken today.
Yep.
My birthday is this Sunday, by the way, and I'm going to be celebrating with all of you because I'm going to be streaming Tomb Raider, the reboot from 2013 again, and it's going to be the end. Like, I'm less than an hour away from completing the game, and eventually I'll be doing a full-on review about the game. But on Saturday, that's when I'm really celebrating because I didn't want to eat like a whole bunch of stuff on Sunday because I work Monday. So I'm like, let's move everything
Probably
up to Saturday.
Thing to do. So what food do you have planned, or is it a big surprise for the Saturday stream?
So for Saturday, we're going to be having a whole lot of donuts. I ordered a double XL donut, which is the equivalent of 9 to 10 donuts.
Oh my God, why?
Because. And I also ordered Happy Birthday Juan spelled out in donuts, Keith.
I'm sorry, what? Like, okay, I have questions. Is it one large donut?
No, it's like every donut is in the shape of the letter, and it's spelled, so it's 17 donuts.
Oh my God.
Yep. No regrets.
Get help. And are they full size?
Yeah, they're regular donuts. So like regular sized donuts. So 17 regular sized donuts, and then.
And you're going to eat this?
I mean, some of them like I'll give out to like neighbors and like nearby family and all that. Like my idea is to eat the XL donut, so that alone is like the equivalent of 9 to 10. So I think that's good. Plus, I'm having a dozen donuts this Friday. I mean, now I'm not okay. I'm buying a dozen donuts. Let me rephrase. I'm buying a dozen donuts Friday, not necessarily eating all of them though. But donuts will be consumed. Probably
Lord
some Mexican
help.
food as well, and pizza.
Lord help.
Dude, live
Lord
hard, die young. You showed me that. You taught me this way of living, Keith. It is your fault.
That's true. I am
You've changed. You've gotten
responsible-
soft, Keith.
You're right. I have gone soft when it comes to eating. What did you say? 23. Excuse me. 23 donuts in total. I guess I have gone a little soft.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Gangrel. Here we go.
All
Here
right.
we go, people. Here
Our
we go.
hopes or dreams are in you. Oh, and Cena's still in, so it's
Yeah.
down to you and Yannick.
Oh, thing is, there cannot be many people left. There seriously can't be many people left.
Is there a number on screen, or do they not show that when you're not actually in the match?
Yeah, I don't think they show it. Let's see here, we'll be mostly lurking, writes Nicole. And Taino, same here. Hey, all the support is appreciated. Anybody lurking, don't be afraid to follow the channel. Next week, I'm still unsure of what I'm going to be doing, but I'm going to be having a lot more fun. I recently set up a new top-down camera, so Retro Reads will be making a return. That's where we take an old gaming magazine or strategy guides and things like that, and we just take a look there, relive those awesome moments. And Yannick's John Cena has been... No. Hey, Goldie. Mr. Dustin. Hey, Dustin, hey. No.
The Nightmare Family Revenge.
No. Oh, he's still in.
All right, Kane did a wardrobe change and he's back.
Yeah.
It's gotta be Kane.
Oh no. Do you think Gangrel has a shot at winning? Hip Hitters writes, I think Lashley is a better wrestler for WWE than Lesnar. Lesnar just does 3 moves. Like, I think Lashley is that he became really good in Impact Wrestling in other places. We just haven't seen a lot of that Lashley. I don't think that's WWE's intention. I think they recognize that Lashley, he maybe was like a failed experiment. I don't want to call him like that, but I don't know what else to think. Like, especially around that time, like Finlay, Lashley, those rivalries.
Lashley is great when he has somebody to talk for him.
Yeah.
There is no coincidence that Lashley is on fire right now because he has MVP to talk for him. That is when Bobby, like, just give him somebody that can take care of the talking. Lashley will more than succeed in the wrestling part of it. That's why when he first came back, it was really bad with the whole, I was a Marine and I'm gonna beat you up, Sami Zayn.
No!
Goodbye, Gangrel.
Wait, okay. Let's just think about this. So the final 3 are Kane, Billy Gunn, and Goldust. Who's winning, people? Who do you got,
Billy
Keith?
Gunn? I thought that was Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah. I mean, what's the difference, Keith?
I mean, tomato, tomato, really.
I got to go
Okay,
with
who am
Mr.
I
Ass,
going for? Yeah, I'm gonna also go with Mr. Ass.
who's maybe about to get eliminated. Okay, no. There we go. There we go. He's good. He's good.
So after this, I think you should have the winner of this match face whoever the champion is in this game. At WrestleMania, of course.
Who is the champion in this game? I don't know. I'll find out. Okay, so let's see here. So it's either going to be
somewhere
Goldust.
in a menu.
Wait, so 2012. I mean, it's WWE 13, but 2012. I'm trying to think of who would be the champion be.
Would Punk have been the champion at this point? Was it Punk and no, because Alberto Del Rio and Punk feuded for it. Was it like Punk and Jack Swagger at this point? Who was
That's
the
the
world
thing.
heavyweight champion? Oh, it's probably Sheamus.
Punk and Sheamus, right? Ace.
Yeah. I got there. Thanks, Ace.
I think people like AJ Styles, Finn Balor, Seth Rollins are on a whole nother level. They're way more complete as wrestlers, at least to me. I don't think AJ is going to be in WWE for very long, aside from his contract now, because the man has been fairly outspoken. Like,
yeah,
questionably so. There comes a point in time that you're like,
here's
damn,
the
dude.
Thing, though. AJ is so good that he can do whatever he wants.
They're not going to fire him.
He's got that Shawn Michaels heat where they couldn't fire Shawn Michaels in the early 90s.
Okay, that's a conversation right there. Like, let's be real. The fact that we're even saying right now that AJ Styles is on the Shawn Michaels level, and I don't think anybody would argue with that, but AJ was the TNA guy. Like, I remember Ryan, Keith, myself, all of us talking about AJ as like man, it's a shame he'll never get to WWE. He's not big enough. Oh, he's one of the very best now. Like, can you just react to that?
I will stand by that because I honestly believe that the reason AJ Styles' WWE run is so successful is because he spent all of that time outside of it. If he would have went to WWE around the time TNA started building up, he would have been just another guy. He would have been Scotty Goldman number 14 at that point. So you can't have one without the other. And I think that it just played out in the best case scenario because that time that AJ went into the WWE, he was on top of the freaking world as far as being it was right after his his match with Nakamura, I think, at Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah.
And just doing insane stuff on the indies. He was going into the WWE with all of that momentum, and he still had a rough start. Like, it's easy to forget about Y2AJ.
Ace, I love you. Oh, wow, Y2AJ. I mean, that lasted literally 2 weeks, was it? 3 weeks?
What a good time that was.
Ace writes in chat, AJ is so good that the earth became flat just for him. I got to clap for that. That's way too good.
Our heroes aren't perfect, and that is a great example of it.
For better or worse, I think in hindsight, we will all look at TNA as perhaps the greatest feeder system to build some of the best stars, because when you look at both the AEW and the WWE roster now, were it not for TNA being that first, and I guess Ring of Honor before that, were it not for TNA and Impact being that stepping stone. What?
It was the stepping stone, exactly.
Yeah. And because you got Samoa Joe, even guys that have not worked out great in WWE, like Bobby Roode, it's like it came a point in time that you're like, wait, there's like almost more TNA guys in WWE than there are WWE guys in TNA. And people would make fun of that, right? When a WWE guy would go to TNA, then look at this here. You know, you have
I remember
Samoa
there was
Joe,
a point
one of the best
where it was
commentators.
like Samoa Joe versus Bobby Roode or something, and just making the joke of, I love the main event of this Impact.
By the way, question to everybody, because Yannick pointed it out. I'm not even sure whenever we do these Wrestling Byte streams where to categorize them on Twitch, because Twitch got rid of the wrestling category. So one of the other ones is podcast, but this is not a podcast necessarily. The other one is just chatting, which we're doing now, because if we go to like a particular game, I know some people cheat the system and just put the latest WWE game as the option, just so it's like a little higher up there. I really don't know, which one to put.
Yeah, because at the same time, to me, in my mind, it's detrimental because if somebody's going to look for a WWE 20 stream, which why would you do that in the first place? And they see 13, they're going to be like, well, no, that's not what I'm looking for.
Yeah, it's a bit tough to figure that out here. Ryan writes, we got the Gunman and Kane. The Gunman and Kane.
All right, the one Billy Gunn be the one to win the Rumble. Ryan
writes about AJ. He became a big enough name that they couldn't ignore it. And I think that that's why it's so important that, especially now, you have Ring of Honor. They're in a very tough spot. I mean, what's happened this year with like the allegations with Marty Scurll and all that. Don't want to get like way too deep into wrestling because that's like a subtopic within a subtopic. But
yeah, we are nowhere near equipped to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. And holy crap, what? Nicole was like 5-1. Wait, how do you 5 tier 1 subs? Wow,
there you go.
Thank you so much. Wow, that is awesome.
My God, Nicole with the subscriptions out of nowhere.
Nicole Torado. My goodness.
Good
Crowd's
God,
going wild.
She subscribed. Something like that.
Yeah, we got to do old GR. Modern day GR is not great.
No,
yeah. But
somebody needs to hang up the black hat these days, folks.
Yeah, man. Actually, that's as much as I hate this topic, I think I want to go there. But before there, seriously, thank you so much, Nicole. I really, really appreciate it. Nicole, for those who don't know, is my wife, awesome streamer, streams mainly in Spanish, mainly Tuesdays or Thursdays and Sunday mornings. So she's playing Marvel's Avengers right now. It's a really fun game to watch. I'm not interested in playing it. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anything
how is
here.
Avengers? Are you enjoying it? Because I'm curious.
Yeah, Nicole, let him know, because I haven't played it myself. From what I've seen, I just don't like how it looks graphically. I think it's kind of ugly, honestly, to look at. Gameplay seems fine from an outsider's perspective. So anybody that's played it in chat or in the comments, whatever, please let us know. We have a couple things here. That's a great point. You're completely right. It is what he has done outside WWE what makes him special when compared to most others in the locker room, right, Tepedes? Which I think for me is the problem. Billy Gunn won! The Ass-Man won!
God. Now, what era of Billy Gunn is this? I need to turn on the sound to hear his theme.
It's got the Ass-Man music.
Okay, but he doesn't have the bum on his bum.
This is PG era WWE, so I guess this is like, it's Ass-Man Billy Gunn with like the one Billy Gunn attire, which is like,
but his theme is Ass-Man.
Yeah, you should be like, I'm the butt man. Yeah. Yes, I'm the butt
posterior man.
Nicole writes, I'm enjoying it. Not the best game I've played, but it has been a pleasant experience so far.
It seems like a game that's going to be 50% off before I know it, and I will probably try it then.
He pointed, Keith. He's pointing. And then
Billy Gunn.
Look at Kane. Look at Kane.
Billy Gunn is going to WrestleMania.
Ace writes, I'm the only one who thinks SVR 08 looks better than 13. 08 looks scarily good. I played 08 a couple of months ago, and I'm like, why does this game look better than most other wrestling games?
Is it like the ECW?
It's the Lashley
one?
cover. It's the one with the 3-man cover. It's the first one with, it had Sandman. It had the ECW roster. It does have Lashley in the cover, right? Can somebody confirm? I don't have it here.
It's like Cena, Undertaker, Lashley, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
I will do a quick Google. Yep, Cena, Undertaker, Lashley. Yeah, that game did look shockingly good, but I think they just poured all their points into graphics and none into gameplay, because I don't remember it playing all that great.
So we're going to get into a deep topic that I want to get to, which is about wrestling commentary. But before that, we do have a WrestleMania match to do, which is Billy Gunn and CM Punk. But what type of match should it be?
Well, seeing as we can't have a kiss my ass match, I think we should put it inside a solid steel cage.
Steel cage. Nice. Let's do it at Mania. Taz is funny in AEW. I love the dark commentary, the AEW dark commentary between Excalibur and Taz. It's just hilarious.
Oh, it's so good. Just because Taz like can't keep it together.
Yeah. Also, but before this match, actually, let's take a look at this roster because like we just went straight into the Rumble. So just like anybody in here that you're like, oh right, like hey, remember Hunico, Keith?
I don't actually.
I mean, otherwise known as Sin Cara afterwards.
Yeah, you could have a Sin Cara versus Hunico match with Sin Cara versus Sin Cara.
I think the game just freezes if you try and do that. Actually,
It just crashes.
I forgot
Wow.
about this Nash. Remember the Nash Punk feud? Yeah.
Oh, right, with over a text. Oh, wow, is that like Funkasaurus Brodus Clay?
Yep.
Huh.
Which in this game they didn't have Cameron and Naomi. They just have two generic women coming out with him, so they didn't even like look like them, which speaks volumes of the state of the women's roster in WWE. Actually, Keith,
That's
okay,
how far they've come.
yeah, Keith, look at this massive roster, right? Now, when you hit Divas, which like WWE gave so little crap about the women's division that it's stuck in a little corner above the random button, okay?
Yeah, it just got a button.
And then check it out, Keith. This is the women's roster in the game. Not only is it small, there's 2 Litas in here, okay? So it is actually a smaller roster than what they show here. So you have Alicia Fox, Beth Phoenix, Eve, Kelly, Karma, who never had a full-on match, but was still in these games. She was in the Rumble. Nikki Bella, and then Trish, Stephanie, and 2 Litas. And then DLC, you had Natalia and AJ Lee.
Well, women's wrestling has come a long way. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
It's strange to look at a WWE roster pre-Shield because it's just such like an important part of wrestling history at this point.
Right.
So it's just weird to see none of them there.
Keith, I got a question. How do I make this a title match? Because Punk's clearly the champion, but do I gotta choose title match?
Maybe it can only be a one-on-one.
People, I don't know how to make a title match in this game.
Are we sure Punk's the champion?
Yeah, I checked. Let's see here. He was the champion, right? I clearly remember seeing that, or I imagined it.
It's on special match, says Ace.
Specialty. Oh. Okay. So let's look at all these championships that they have here, because they always have bonus titles in these wrestling games. So they even have the Undisputed. They have the
Perfect.
Winged Eagle.
Winged Eagle, best belt ever.
The titles from 86 and 87. That is freaking random.
That is weird.
The Miz Championship.
Oh wow, that's weird. The Miz one.
Cuna de Lobos para hombre. Wow. The $1 Million title. Hardcore. I love that the Internet Championship was never acknowledged on TV, yet it is in this game.
But it made it in the game. Perfect. It's where it belonged.
Wow, so the tag team champions here were Kofi and R-Truth. Man, Kofi's had a lot of damn tag team partners.
No kidding. Was that a real tag team? I honestly can't even remember.
It's sad that I'm pretty sure it happened, but like I just think about Air Boom.
Sounds like something that happened, but I have no memory of it.
Yeah. See here, so let's choose Punk. And let's do a Kaj match.
A solid salad cage.
It's going to be Punk in the... regular tire Punk or best in the world shirt Punk?
Best in the world, I guess. Sell that merch.
Yeah. And then we're going to do Billy Gunn. Haru, what's going on, my friend? ¿Qué está pasando?
Good afternoon.
Okay, so is it going to be Modern Mania or Classic Mania?
Modern. Because we were at that WrestleMania.
We were at that Mania. Yeah, people, Keith and I actually hung out and slept together in the same room.
That's
Mania.
true. And then woke up to David Otunga's theme. It was one of the greatest moments of my life.
And we're not lying about one of these things. They actually happened, people.
Yep. All true.
Hans versus Rex. Remember, Ryan, this is WWE 13, which we did have Hans versus Rex in this. We made them first here, but I lost. Oh my God, I lost that save, and they had that. I still have the WWE 2K14 save, though. I still have that one.
I feel like this is something we need to look into, but do you follow the NL channel at all?
A New Legacy, yeah.
Yeah, New Legacy. I'm 99% sure they've played 14 online in the last couple of years.
I don't see how they could. It is going to be possible soon because WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2008 is almost fully playable in the new emulator, and that has net play, and you can also use Parsec. So,
because I know for a fact they've played 13 because I've watched videos of it. I've seen it happen of them all playing like a Royal Rumble online.
That I'm gonna have to see. I'm honestly gonna have to see. And thank you, Yannick, for the host. Like, because ideally, I love to do some stuff like that. And how we're just talking about some wrestling. I know not everybody's a wrestling fan, but hey, want to talk about the things that I love, and we can all share our loves. And then on Sunday, I can share my experience with them sexy, delicious donuts the days before.
Speaking of sharing things you love, you'll share you eating yourself into oblivion or something. I don't know. I had nothing.
I mean, I'm gonna eat clean on Sunday. Even I'm gonna make like a keto cake for myself to make me feel better for Sunday. But yeah,
whatever helps justify this insane venture you're going on. 17 donuts. Good God Almighty, King.
There's just something about listening to the Mr. Ass theme in this WrestleMania stage that makes me happy.
I mean, anytime you listen to Mr. Ass, it's a happy day.
Man, they couldn't like give him something in the outfit, something.
But Juan, I love to love him. I love to kick him. I love to shove him. I love to stick him.
I love to kick him. I'm gonna stick him. Hart Foundation for Life. Dokina, the match I actually saw this weekend. It was Owen. I was gonna say Owen versus Hart, although that would apply with Bret. But yeah, Bret versus Owen.
It counts.
Not the cage match. It was the WrestleMania, right?
WrestleMania 10. WrestleMania 10. Oh, what a match that is! Oh, it's so good.
I was sitting down here. I didn't feel like playing a game, and for whatever reason, I'm like, I'm gonna watch Bret Hart versus Owen Hart at WrestleMania 10. It's like, of course, that is what happens.
By the end of it, you're like, what a great decision I made, because what a fantastic match. Bret and Owen did not have a bad match. That is low-key one of the best feuds in wrestling history. From the time that they were a tag team to Owen turning on him, and then WrestleMania 10, the Kate. Oh, it was so good.
Ace gets his new 4K TV tomorrow. Awesome, man. And yeah, like I think I want to watch a lot more of Bret. I didn't watch a lot of Bret matches growing up. He wasn't really my type of wrestler. I think now as I get older, I've begun to appreciate matches with Canadians that are not destroying things. It just feels kind of nice that not everything is a flip pile driver. I love that in this match, there's more AEW because you have Justin Roberts and Billy, or William Pistol, as we've come to know him as.
Wasn't Lil Nate on AEW a few weeks ago as well? Or am I thinking
no, it's Mike Chioda. Mike
Chioda. That's right.
Kiki, yeah. So, Keith, let's talk about something that I've got a problem with AEW right now. And the problem is not even what is happening in the ring, although I sometimes have my complaints, but as much as I recognize that JR is one of the best commentators of all time, one of the most iconic voices in professional wrestling, JR legitimately kills my excitement for AEW. And as a fellow AEW watcher, I would love to get your comments. But before that, shout out to Spider Popo. What's going on, my friend? Talking here about wrestling while watching some simulated matches. WWE title match, CM Punk, William Pistol, otherwise known as Billy Gunn. But Keith, what's your take on JR in AEW?
I am in 100% agreement of AEW, or Jim Ross kind of bringing down AEW, because I mean, I agree with you. I think he is the best ever, and you can't take that away from JR at all. But he's lost, and it's hard to keep up sometimes, because now the fact that JR is confused is what you're focusing on instead of a match. Or there's like there are things that he does and things that he said that are of a certain time that I don't think fly anymore. A great example being his Anna J comment from All Out. And then the fact that like the thing that like as a fan gets on my nerves more than anything is anytime there's a critique, it's just, oh, well, you don't know any better than me. And then, or suck it up or laugh it off or something like that.
Yeah, and for those that don't know about the Anna J comment, because not everybody watches AEW and all that, so they had the All Out pay-per-view, which a few issues aside, it was okay.
Let's talk about that after this JR
Yeah,
thing.
we can talk about that for sure. But I think William Pistol's not going to win. Wait, I just want to see what's happening here. Oh, William Pistol did not win. Very unfortunate.
He just jobbed out that Royal Rumble shot.
Yeah, wow. I love how he's just like looking at Punk, just like, oh.
And there my dreams go.
Oh,
First
damn.
The Rock buried me.
Yeah.
Now you did, Punk.
That is true. So he said at one part, Anna Jay, a female wrestler with the Dark Order, so that's like a culty type stable, she's being carried away. And then JR, who keep in mind is this older man, says, did Anna Jay just have a wardrobe malfunction, or is that just wishful thinking? So think about the fact that he is her co-worker. Imagine if you had somebody in your job openly say like, oh, did Keith get a wardrobe malfunction, or is that just wishful thinking? That is your freaking co-worker. And it's a man,
and your like superior in a way where it's like it's not really your boss, but it's somebody that's been in the business for a very long time that you look up to.
I think it is time to have a lot more fresh faces, and I think, oh, and Keith, thank you for the 5-month Twitch Prime resub. Keith, any shout out for Keith? Anything you want to say to him?
Thank you for doing what you do, and good God Almighty, break him in half.
So Keith, how about while we keep talking, you want to have a bit of an elimination chamber match?
Sure.
So let's do
All right,
this here.
Let's do it in... Can you do a tornado tag, like a 3v3? So let's do Team Juan versus Team Keith.
Okay. So people, let us know, everybody in chat, Keith is going to pick out his team, and I'm going to pick out mine. You let us know which one may win. So...
All
Keith,
right, so let's do this draft style.
Yeah, so you get the first pick as the person that's invited.
All right, for my first pick, I am going to choose Stone Cold.
Okay. Oh, I wasn't sure. 360 or original attire?
360.
360, no, 360. 360.
316 no scope. Oh, so we can't do back and forth.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so let's do it this way. I pick one, you pick somebody for my team, and then I pick the third, and then we do the same, and then I do the same for you.
Okay, that works. So you have Stone Cold, so I'm going to pick one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, Brodus Clay. You got Brodus, man.
All right, we got Funkasaurus on this team. Then for my third pick, beside Billy Gunn, is that Bradshaw or Kevin Nash? I can't
tell. Bradshaw.
Okay, I don't want Bradshaw. So let's go with the Mastodon Vader.
Wow. So we have Brodus Clay, Stone Cold, and Vader.
There's a lot of man meat on this team.
Yeah.
Hashtag man meat.
Yeah, that is something. Okay, so for my team, my first pick for Team Juan is going to be... Oh, wait a minute. I forget. There's some of that DLC. Man, the DLC in this game sucked. Oh, no, wait. I have Ministry of Darkness Undertaker is going to be my first pick.
I didn't know about the DLC. This is unfair.
I mean, you didn't ask, Keith.
Seeing as he was one of your favorite wrestlers at the time.
Oh boy, Zack Ryder. Okay.
I think it's only fitting that Zack Ryder is on your team.
I didn't even let Keith finish talk. He's like, all right, Zack Ryder.
Yeah, you know who it is.
Okay, man. You got a lot of man meat. I need some more man meat in my team. What's Paul White's stats? Where is Paul White? Okay, Paul White is a 92. I could
What's the
go
difference between Paul White and the Big Show? Like, is he Big Show 92 as well?
92 and Big Show is 92. Okay, so very little effort was put into that. I'm gonna because you got Taker and Big Show, and then Zack Ryder. It's like, of course.
It's like the Ministry of Darkness tag team from back in the day.
So everybody, we have Team Keith, which is Stone Cold, Brodus, and Vader, and then Team Juan, Taker, Zach, and Paul White. Who do you got? I'm gonna go with Team Juan. I don't know about Keith. Are you going with Team Juan?
I think I'm gonna go with Team Keith on this one. You know, there's a lot of Stone Cold, much like Hulk Hogan. Austin's got a pose, baby.
Big Evil Undertaker's my favorite. And writes Ace, what did JR say? So just to recap, JR talked about a wardrobe malfunction, basically like a piece of her clothing ripping off or something. But then he said, or is that just wishful thinking? So it's him basically admitting, hey, I want her to have something happen, which in the 90s would totally be like, yeah, but now, man, it is your freaking coworker, which we talked about. But give me your take on Tony Schiavone. I grew up watching WCW, right? So to me, he was my voice. To you, it was mostly JR. So what's your take on Tony Schiavone and listening to him on Dynamite?
Back in the day, I was kind of whatever about Tony Schiavone, but he is one of my favorite parts about Dynamite every week. Mostly because I also listen to his podcast every now and then, What Happened When? And I think he's just a super hilarious dude. So I love Tony Schiavone for that. And then he just brings that to the show as well. I love how he's kind of like, especially to certain wrestlers like Britt Baker, he's just kind of like the weird uncle.
Yeah.
Because he was built to play that. Oh, it looks like I've got the first team member in.
Yeah, I'm in trouble now.
It's going to be Brodus and Vader taking on the Taker. But see, right now that gives me an advantage. But later on, that means your guys are going to be fresh longer.
That is true.
Unless Austin comes in last.
I mean, Austin's not even wearing knee pad. Oh no, he's wearing the knee brace. He's wearing the left one. Okay, so he's kind of okay.
Mm-hmm. Just, this match is such a nothing thing to Austin that he doesn't even need to take his shirt off. So I basically won it already.
He's like,
you just don't know
that Zack Ryder kid is in here, so I don't got to do too much work, man.
Yeah, flip off, stunner, leave. It's all I got.
But yeah,
exactly. He turned into Jerry Lawler for 5 minutes there.
Yep, unfortunately. But when it comes to Tony Schiavone, somehow he got better in commentary. I don't know if it's just the experience. Personally, I think him doing a lot of podcasting probably helps. As somebody that, as a result of the podcast, like that's helped me in many ways. I think it's just been able to have him feel maybe a lot more relaxed. And
plus, before he went to AEW, didn't he do a stint in MLW as well? Like that probably helped a lot.
I honestly have no idea where he was. To me, I think the biggest thing is like, holy crap, the man did like no big thing in wrestling for almost a decade. Like, think about that.
He was out of wrestling for a long time. Like,
he did a lot of sports.
He was a commentator for the Atlanta Braves, if I remember correctly, the baseball team, and then worked at Starbucks, which people like to make fun of him for, but I think that's total BS.
Yeah.
And then, kind of came back into wrestling with the Conrad Thompson family of podcasts, and thank God for Conrad, I guess.
Ace writes, we never have 3 versus 3 Elimination Chamber matches. We've had tag team EC matches, but we've never had this, right? Which is surprising, because wouldn't it be kind of like a War Games match, I guess? It is kind of like a War Games.
It is. Is this elimination or no? I think that's like, is this one pin?
Man, that would suck if it is.
I know. I didn't think about that till right now. How disappointing.
Ryan asks, Keith, since you own it, what have you done with Fight Night over the past 4 years?
I've been collecting royalties. I sold the television rights to a company in Taiwan, and they play it at 3 a.m. in the morning. So I've just been collecting fat checks off of that dead
I think it was
brand.
actually just Taiwan, so I'm just getting all that money.
Yeah, you're just playing it on the air.
Exactly.
Man, I was thinking about Fight Night the other day. I know it was like your and Ryan's thing, and I just kind of like clung on to it near the end, but God, I miss it. That was some dumb fun
Yeah,
that
for
almost
those
got me arrested once.
Yeah, so that is a story that will we will look back at that story when we are like 70 years old or something and just be like, what the hell?
Yeah,
What the
what
hell? And
like hindsight.
yeah, and you have your story. You know how we listen to a lot of wrestling podcasts, and usually a wrestler will almost always say like that one story that I think we all know. That is your story, and I don't think I've ever heard it from you. And I'm like, oh, Keith, just stop talking about it. So, for those that haven't, the Fight Night is for those that haven't seen it. Fight Night is a show that Ryan and I mainly produce. So, like Ryan did the writing, I did the recording, and we played the matches
Try and
online.
find the link while you're talking here. To
Yeah,
Old
please
Fight
do.
Night, because I think it's still on YouTube.
Yeah, it's all still on YouTube. But Keith was brought in as a character, and like we'd actually do simulated stuff. So Heberes, Spider, anybody here that loves wrestling, even if you hate wrestling, actually, it's like we built storylines and we played out the matches according to that. So we actually worked the matches between Ryan and me, but then eventually we had Keith become the general manager of the show. He'd be the person in charge. But at one point, we decided to have Keith, spoiler, become sort of like like a lot of what is happening in wrestling right now is like oddly similar between Dark Order and Retribution. We were ahead of the curve, man. Keith
and
became.
here's a link to the Fight Night playlist in the chat here.
It is right there. It is a sexy show, and to this day, one of my proudest production things that I've been involved in. But Keith,
I mean, Supercock is still in your intro to these streams, and I laugh every time I see it.
I'm damn proud of that, and I mean, it was so friggin' awesome, right? So, what happened there is that Keith was he needed to look like the evil character, right, like the bad guy. Keith, tell the story.
Yeah, so you can see it's episode 33 for context if you're curious, but there was this character that Juan and Ryan had called the Masked Man, where he was like he had his group. He was pretty much the Dark Order and going around and indoctrinating people.
Dude, to the point that it was the mystery of who was the man. Oh my god.
Who was what was the Exalted One?
Yeah,
Instead of the Exalted One, it was the Masked Man. So the big reveal at the end of the season was going to be who's the Masked Man. So in order to make it as dumb and as absurd as possible, it was going to be me being the general manager of Fight Night. And so I did my best to recreate the Masked Man or costume in real life, so it wouldn't just be like it was taking it out of the game, out of WWE 14. So I went to Walmart, and God, this is a dumb story.
I love this story so much.
So what the Masked Man consisted of was a black hoodie, a mask, and some duct tape. Some white duct tape, because I was using because it had these white marks on it. So I was going to use the white duct tape to simulate the markings on the mask. In hindsight, I should have used paint. Yeah, pretty much ace. I did Masked Man. I cosplayed my own character. So me not thinking at the time, going through a checkout line at a Walmart with a hoodie, a mask, and some duct tape totally didn't look like I was going to try and kidnap somebody. So, being the responsible employee that was working at that Walmart, they asked me to go into an office, to which I had to explain this entire scenario, or they were going to phone the police on me. So I'm sitting there like basically crapping my pants, saying like, well, there's this internet show that I do with my friends, and I'm a fictional character who's the head of a cult, and I'm the big reveal. I promise you everything's okay. It's for a character. And I'm not going to do anything malicious. It's for a video. and not like one of those terroristy videos. It's just a normal video. So eventually they let me go, and I don't think I'm allowed back in that Walmart anymore, but that was one of the most absurd moments of my life. No questions.
I just remember we had a group meet chat between Ryan, Keith, and I. And then Keith, just like no context, I think what you wrote was, so I was almost arrested today. And then Ron and I were, because it's like the last thing you think about is because it was a YouTube thing. I was like, Keith probably has like more reasons to be arrested for something. Then when he starts explaining this, I'm like, what the freaking, when you thought and you knew that you actually had to explain, also my team kicked ass. All three were still there.
Apparently, Jesus.
Clean sweep. It's Zack Ryder. But when you knew that you had to explain that it was for an internet video, how the hell do you actually feel, like internally speaking?
Internally, I was crapping myself because I was like, oh God, I got to get this right, or I'm going to be on some sort of watch list and I don't want to be there.
I'm just imagining like a worst case scenario. They didn't buy it, so you have to go to YouTube and find a video, and it's like, here's like a chicken.
This is me. This is the masked man. I'm him.
And it's like, that doesn't look like
big
you.
Reveal. Oh, so stupid. Then they'd
Good
be
times.
like, well, that's a video game character, not you.
Wow. Let's do one of the worst matches in this game, the Inferno match. Who should be in this Inferno match?
Let me think about this. I think you should put Vader and Brodus Clay for failing me inside the Elimination Chamber. One of them is going up in flames because of it.
The lowest rated match in wrestling history, Inferno match. Vader versus Brodus Clay. Let's actually do the entrances so everybody can see Brodus's amazing entrance with generic
and
woman.
Get your phones out because it's time to call your mama. Remember how for like 30 seconds it was Ernest the Cat Miller's theme? Then it just kind of came back.
Yep. And I remember marking the hell out of the hell out for that. Were you a big fan of Vader?
Face? I've come around on Vader, where back in the day I didn't really get it. But now, like, once I hit the point where I was really interested in wrestling history, I went back and watched all of Vader's matches with like Cactus Jack from WCW and some of his stuff in Japan, and just learning about the mythos of Vader. And since then, I've become a big Vader fan. Just if you just know Vader from his WWE time, it's a bit of an unfortunate career story, but everything outside of it is wonderful.
Yeah, Vader's one of those guys that I really have not seen a lot of his stuff, except in one of the Pro Wrestling loot boxes. I think I got a best of Vader in Japan. And thanks to that, I actually got to see some stuff. It only had like 5 matches or something. But I'm like, damn, like, where did this Vader go in WWE? And obviously, WWF at that point was catered mostly to children, so I can see why a character like Vader in the early 90s or in the late 90s, like, I mean, his character just didn't belong, right? So it's like he just didn't fit.
You succeeded if you gelled with Shawn Michaels. And if you didn't, you were done. And unfortunately, he did not gel with Shawn Michaels.
No. Wow, I forgot about this. This is like full blown, like with the voiceover and everything.
Oh, with the
fucking bumping. Right. Oh yeah.
What a time. Remember this, honestly, no jokes, this is probably one of my favorite swerves in wrestling history, where Brodus Clay had all these video packages coming back to be this monster, and he was just going to be generic, angry big guy number 47, and then this happened.
But where are the Funkadactyls? Because, I mean,
I guess
are they already in the ring or something? No? So they have the Funkadactyls entrance with no Funkadactyls in this game?
Did they just not put them in the game?
Well, yeah, were they just not in? The Funkadactyls were...
Funkadactyls. That's a really hard word to say. You have to be very careful with that word.
Because he was still Funk Brodus in 2K14, right?
Yeah, because by
With
then it was him and
Tensai?
Sweet Tea.
The fact you were able to just say that.
Wrestling's a weird thing.
It is. It is. Yeah, I don't think they were in this one, I guess. Just like, oh, so much right now. I have questions. Just why is this match happening?
And right there, Vader would have been on fire.
As a kid, what did you think about the Inferno match? Because that was like optimum Attitude Era Keith, right? So
Yeah, that was cool as hell back in the day. Just because the way that the Attitude Era was, it's always these insane over-the-top moments. So you're going to have two people light each other on fire in wrestling? Absolutely. As a kid, I'm all in for that. And it's something that I look back on, I'm like, why? You know. But at the time, just the spectacle of it is...
you become like a brother love or something there? Yeah. Well, you know.
Well, you know.
It's true, though. It's one of the matches that's like, people complain about these matches. I'm like, what do you want? The person to actually be lit on fire and die?
Yeah. Like, you could always tell who was going to win by who had a full sleeve on.
Right. That's why, like, MVP, you know, Kane, these different wrestlers that at some point, like MVP with the Power Rangers outfit. It's like, okay, it makes sense.
You kind of knew.
Yeah.
Conveniently, one arm is a little more stuffed than the other, a little larger than the other. Can't imagine why.
Can you imagine Undertaker's going to lose an Inferno match, so he wrestles in a turtleneck? You're like, I don't know, man. I kind of think Taker's going to take the loss here. I can't quite put my finger on why, though.
Just have a hunch and a turtleneck. But, like, this concept is something that should have never existed. Because think about the Undertaker from the Attitude Era and how long his hair was, as an example. Like, it is a bloody miracle that he didn't have all of his hair singed off in that ring.
And even with Kane, even though most of that mask was artificial, I mean, the hair, well, I mean, that's never been like confirmed, right? Especially around that point. I don't know, but
there are pictures of him with hair back in the day, so I think some of it was real.
But regardless, how easily that could accidentally catch on fire, and that's tied to the mask.
Like, imagine how gross it must have been in that mask with Kane, just leather that close to your face,
wow.
and like 400 in a 400-degree ring oven.
You know, that's a really good question, because like I remember in New Year's Resolution when Kane came out here and the pyro went off. I mean, keep in mind that pyro was far away, and I felt the heat. And Eddie Guerrero wasn't even on that show, right? So it's like, felt the heat, man. Ryan's just like, I'm done, man. I'm done. But that is like easily over 100 feet away. How hot must it have actually been for the wrestlers in this match with the fire not just being close, you're actually enclosed. You're in the middle of that, and the fire smoke is everywhere.
Oh my God. I hate you so much.
Remember to follow, subscribe for those interested. Thank you, Keith, for the 5-month resub. This is what you come here for, right?
Unfortunately. Like punishment. I just can't get enough.
How hot fire is. Well, I don't know if is it worth doing an Inferno match in 2020? I guess would be a good question.
Yeah, 2020 Inferno match. Is it relevant or whatever that SEO dumb title is that you always do?
Was Bray Wyatt in an Inferno match?
I want to say yes. Him and Kane had an Inferno match. Am I making this up or did this happen? I feel like
also Brodus Clay just beat Vader in an Inferno match.
Kane Wyatt Inferno match.
A Ring of Fire match. What the hell was a Ring of Fire match? I know I saw that. If it happened,
did it go down, 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 and the flames went higher. Yeah, they did have an Inferno match at SummerSlam. Oh no, or it was a Ring of Fire match. I mean,
what was the difference? I don't remember that match.
All right, I found it on Daily Motion, the source for all full wrestling matches.
Doty's just like, I'm not going to even try.
It's just an Inferno match. They just didn't want to call it an Inferno match, I guess.
Yeah.
Or
an
maybe
Inferno match's only way to win is by pinfall or submission. Of course it was. Of course it was.
No. Well, what was the point? Was it the point like to keep the Wyatt family out? I guess in the PG era, it would be seen as a negative to light someone on fire on live television.
Yeah. Let's do one more match here. It's going to be a tables match. Keith, who do you got? And then you're going to be taking on whoever I choose.
I am going to choose as my final person on Team Keith this evening. Let's go with the Godfather.
There we go.
You know what they say, pimpin' ain't easy.
I could go with Mike Tyson or Chainsaw Charlie.
Wait, Mike Tyson is in this game?
He was actual Mike Tyson.
Because this was this was the Attitude Era one, and then later on there was like the Stone Cold.
Yep, where they had whatever that was, not
Wasn't
Mike Tyson.
He was
Mike Bison.
White Tyson?
Yeah, he looked awful. He looked nothing. I guess they legally had to have him not look like him, but still.
Mm-hmm. In every conceivable way.
Man, thinking maybe, I don't know who I want. I mean, I brought up X-Pac, so why not X-Pac versus Godfather? I feel like that defines the Attitude Era, just these two guys here.
This happened at least every Monday.
Yeah. I'm going to do entrances. Isn't it insane? It's not even wrestling has changed. It's that wrestling got away with so much crap. Wow, those are like some of the worst models. And I mean, like the character models, like they don't look like human beings.
Yeah, that's not good. I think the No Mercy ones were better.
Oh my goodness, they Ryu and Ken them. If you notice, they were the exact same model, just with color swaps, I think. They are. Oh my god. It's Ryu and Ken.
So the blonde one, if you do the Hadoken motion, it'll be more upwards and have less range.
Exactly.
But you could do like a quarter circle Hadoken with the brown-haired one, and it would do like a bigger version.
Oh, man, that would have been good. Ace writes X-Pac versus Godfather for the European title. Man, that is just straight up
that
Attitude Era.
At least 4 times.
Yeah, in one Raw. What do you think about the Good Father and Right to Censor?
Right to Censor is something that I look back on fondly just because it was so, I don't want to say ahead of its time, but it was so on the nose. Where it was something that the WWE was making fun of and trying to make fun of censors, and then everything Right to Censor fought for eventually came to pass.
Yeah, who would have thought, right? By the way, I totally skipped that because Tintron videos and YouTube don't get along well, so if I want to post this, well then.
Shout out to Matt Hardy and that WrestleMania 19 video.
Wow. Sad that we don't have Tommy Dreamer's hardcore belt. And Tommy Dreamer is still chucking. He's still there. He's in Impact Wrestling. Have you kept up with Impact Wrestling?
I've watched more YouTube clips recently. Ever since the Good Brothers went to Impact, I've been kind of lightly keeping a tab on it. But it's like, right now, it's like my 4th rung of need to watch wrestling. Like AEW's number 1, WWE's number 2, and the difference between 1 and 2 is a landslide. And then I'm trying to watch more NWA Power now that it's coming back, because I never really got into it before, but I want to.
It's great.
And
I mean, half the roster is gone, but
yeah. And now Impact is. I'm slightly keeping tabs on it.
I've been watching some of the stuff, especially the women's division and some of the top stuff. I mean, they have Jordan, Tenille, so very solid roster. Taya, Into the Fire, man. NWA Power. What's interesting is the whole reason it basically stopped happening, like pandemic aside, is Dave Lagana, who I've actually like engaged in private conversations with. I don't know if I ever said that. Like, I actually chatted with Dave Lagana for like 3 hours on a random Friday night because he was tweeting, "Hey, anybody want to talk about like the creative process of working on a wrestling show?" So like I responded, but I was thinking it was going to be a live thread, right? Just like an open tweet. All of a sudden, he's DMing me, but I asked like a basic question because I'm like, the man's not dedicated a whole night. Oh my goodness, here we are like hours later engaging in conversations. I'm like, what is happening right now? You know, here you have a guy that's been involved in wrestling. What?
I said, what a strange thing.
Yeah, a guy that's been involved in a lot of big stuff in wrestling. Unfortunately, much like other people in wrestling, some not so great things came up from him. So he had to be let go from NWA, but he was the man behind all of that stuff happening, like the YouTube shows that they were doing, Power. He was the creative mindset, you know, after Billy Corgan. So it's unfortunate what's going to happen. Thunder Rosa is awesome, and I hated her in Lucha Underground. The little that I saw, she was not great on Lucha Underground, but man, talk about just becoming an amazing badass wrestler.
See, my only reference point for Thunder Rosa is her match from All Out last weekend, and I was very impressed with what I saw. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to check out Power more, because like, oh, if this is the caliber of what's going on, I need to see this.
Yeah, I mean, Ricky Starks is that's how I found out about him. I think the format of Power is what I love, because the fact that it's a set, but they fully embrace the set. So there's a promo corner. People just kind of come out, and it's got this old school style.
It looks like the old WCW set. Like, you know, when I say the silver set that Ric Flair used to just scream into, like, that's what it reminds me of.
The Jim Cornette non-edit comment too. Right, man. NWA had it bad because it was first Cornette, and Cornette, that was pre-pandemic, right? That was pre-pandemic?
Yeah, that was I think it was late last year.
So we had that, but then we got Stu Bennett, aka Wade Barrett, on commentary. It's pretty freaking great. I mean, now he's in NXT. So just weird. Oh, what the hell was that?
I didn't realize that Stu Bennett was in there for a while. I thought his return to wrestling was like just in NXT. Well,
no. So whenever I forget when it comes up, he did an amazing job. But then pandemic happened, and then during the pandemic, they started doing this new show on the NWA channel, and it was awesome. Like, non-wrestling, no actual wrestling was happening. But imagine you took like a Southpaw Regional Wrestling, but a more serious approach, but still kind of tongue-in-cheek. It was awesome. It's over. Oh, damn, that's a hell of a way to end the match. And X-Pac no-selling it.
X-Pac. No wonder he has heat.
Yeah, see, that's why he got X-Pac heat, man. He just got superplexed through a table. Man, you won the match. It's like, can you stay down? Power is more of a land promo than a land of work rate. Yeah, and I like the fact that it was wait, what? X-Pac.
Wait, did the Godfather put himself through a table?
Wait, I didn't even. Wait. I gotta process this information.
This really is an episode of SmackDown from the Attitude Era. The Godfather put himself through a table and X-Pac won, and now he's getting a European title shot.
I don't even know what to say right now. So, man, I wish I had live replay. So it kind of makes sense because he kind of overshot the superplex so they could say X-Pac countered. And then, wow. Okay, I need to look up match highlights. Can I look at this? Wow.
I think you can.
Okay, table crash. Here we go. Uh-huh. Oh, X-Pac set himself up. So it looked like he was about to be superplexed.
But he knew that the table was...
Man, you know what's amazing? From a storyline perspective, that would be amazing, because if you look at the match, he actually purposely goes to the corner. I can't believe this right now.
That is television worthy. And I think there's no better way to end this with a real life angle.
I gotta save this clip right now. One-on-one table. Wow. This is the best and the worst match we could possibly end. The fact that I didn't even understand, so that's why X-Pac got up. It's like, yeah, I mean, it kind of happened. Godfather was like, no, I was supposed to win, man. Oh, wait, he won? No wonder you have X-Pac heat.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That was beautiful. But Keith, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Do you do like a podcast or something?
Every now and then I like to turn on a microphone and talk about everything retro, whether it be games, movies, sometimes even wrestling with this guy that's obsessed with donuts to an unhealthy degree.
Oh,
and
yeah,
a guy
he's
from
a good
Boston.
guy.
And if you're interested in ever listening to that, I invite you to check out A Cast to the Past on YouTube, youtube.com/A Cast to the Past, on whatever podcast app that you find your audio goodness on. We are there. Check us out. Tell us you like us. Tell us you hate us. And tell us on our Discord. That is acasttothepast.com/Discord. And come join the party because it's a lot of fun over there.
Exactly. And that's going to be doing it for the first edition of the Wrestling Byte. The idea is like every month and a half or so, we just pick like an old wrestling game. I would love to go even further back. So like either N64.
The original plan was was Fire Pro, just because of the insane things that you can do in that game.
Yeah.
Eventually, we need to get that working.
Yeah, we do need to do that. I had in my old computer like a pretty good roster of like Taker and all that, but I forgot to transfer that. So I need to download some stuff and make that happen. Ace writes, Vince Russo would do an angle like that on WCW. He would, without question, do that.
Oh, yes. That has Mr. Russo written all over it.
Yes. And don't forget, Sunday, it is going to be my birthday stream, September 13th. Beginning at around 1 p.m. Eastern Time, I'm going to be playing the Tomb Raider reboot from 2013. We should be ending it. And then depending on what happens afterwards, because I don't think it's going to be over an hour with what's going to be happening, then we play either Fall Guys and see if I can get a win on my birthday or I don't know what. Thank you to Ace for hanging out, having that awesome conversation. Thank you to Keith for the resub. Thank you to Nicole for the 5 gift subs. I really, really appreciate it. And I will see you all this Sunday. So take care, everybody.